The amount of silver and copper that is getting used up in the world today has just increased by a significant factor. When the war in the Middle East started, the amount of rockets, drones, planes and guidance systems and anti-rocket defense systems has increased the demand for both silver and copper. Both sides, the Iranians and their allies, the Israelis and their allies, the Americans, are using up so much copper and silver. They had like what they thought was months worth of rockets, drones and defense systems, like the Iron Dome defense system. Months worth of being used up every day. Just Iran's got 1,000 missiles, or thousands of drones, missiles flying over to attack targets. And for each one of those, sometimes it's several, it might be even tens of missile surface-to-air defense to take them out. Like, whoosh. This is using up so much silver and copper. Some of these smart bombs use hundreds of ounces of silver. Hundreds of ounces of silver per bomb just blown up. And I don't know what it is in copper, but it's more than that with copper. Copper and silver are not infinite. They are finite resources, and they are getting used up. They're already getting used up to a tremendous rate. What I'm predicting is shortages of these finite, precious, essential resources. I've been long predicting shortages developing. This war has escalated at no end. The war with Ukraine and Russia, you know, you've got NATO on one side using up so many missiles and anti-missile defense systems, and all the guidance systems, radar, and all the basically data centers or big computer systems that are used for striking and for defending. It's using up so much silver and copper, and they used up all the world's, you know, they've used up so much of it. Factories now, war factories, are going into hyperdrive to produce more missiles, drones. The Americans and the Israelis have pretty much used up all they've got. They're frantically, desperately, doesn't matter what it costs, they need to buy more defense Iron Dome missiles. They've got to replenish their stocks frantically. No matter what it costs, they're calling anybody they can. Can you get the silver? Can you get the copper? We need to replenish our stocks. We need to, otherwise we're going to be obliterated. We have to get more Iron Dome defense. The factories are dropping everything, going into overdrive to produce these systems and these munitions. And the other side, Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, they're all going into overdrive trying to buy silver and copper to replenish their stockpiles. Nobody knows. Iran's got lots of tunnels underneath mountains. They're nuclear bomb proof bunkers, you know, even bunker buster proof. These bunker busters can go so far down in these mountains. They're even deeper than that. They've got these munitions factories building more, and they want to replenish all their stocks because they're using up thousands every day. This is going to intensify the shortage of silver and copper. So what will it look like? I think we've got kind of a shortage now. COMEX has got about 1 month left. March, April, the COMEX registers inventories will be depleted. That's the COMEX, the Commodities Mercantile Exchange. Then you've got the London Bullion Market Association. They have pretty much run out. They've got maybe 1 or 2 months left. At the current rate of depletion, they will have run out of silver. And then you've got the Shanghai, you know, they're going to be, that'll all be going to making munitions, making rockets and drones. Is there any other big stockpile of silver left? Not that we know of. They're all getting depleted. Both silver and copper are getting depleted. And I've long said, if you hate war, if you hate people getting killed with bombs falling and debris, sometimes the building collapses and either they get killed straight away or not for a long time. It's horrible. It's horrific. If you hate that, because I'm neutral, I'm not taking sides, I'm neutral. I hate both sides. There are good and bad people on both sides. There's good people in Iran and there's bad people in Iran. There's good people in Israel and there's bad people in Israel. I'm neutral, but I just hate war. If you hate war, what can you do? Is it worth picketing with signs, you know, going down, no more war, let's march, let's do a march, let's do a protest. It won't do any good. I'm sorry, but you might feel you're not wasting your time, but it doesn't do any good. The Vietnam War, loads of big movement, no more war, stop the war. Gulf War I, Gulf War II, and many others, countless others, stop the war. It doesn't do any good. The Rothschilds, or the bankers, the cunning men I call them, they're famous for saying, let them march all they want as long as they pay their taxes. It doesn't do any good. Zero good whatsoever. What can force the end of this the end of people dying so much with thousands of missiles every day is a shortage of silver and copper. You cannot get the advanced technologies if they cannot get the silver and copper. Now think about that. Demand for silver and copper is more than supply. The supply is not meeting demand. All the stockpiles are getting drained. Once they cannot make another smart bomb, or they're struggling now, but there'll come a time when they're really struggling to make these smart bombs and the defense. They're desperately trying to get the last of the silver and the copper that they need. These are finite resources that are running out. They are not infinite. They're running out. If you hate war and hate people getting killed, keep buying silver and copper. If enough of us do it, there's a big movement now. People all around the world. You could be a high net worth person. You could be a low net worth person like me. I'm a humble pest controller. I kill rats. You know, I haven't got much at all. But a lot of people like me taking silver and copper out of available supply. Take it out of supply. So the cunning men cannot make smart bombs with it. There will be shortages. It is inevitable. There will be shortages. And you're going to get announcements. I think they're going to say, it's those greedy silver and copper hoarders. We need it for the war effort. We need to make more smart bombs to kill more women and children. We need the silver and copper. Those greedy silver hoarders, they're not selling it. Even though the price has gone up very, very high, they're still not selling. We need, and they'll confiscate it. If you've got silver, you've got to give it to us so we can make more munitions to kill more women and children. And those of us who are in the movement, we are saying, keep taking silver and copper out of supply. Save silver. Save silver from being put into munitions that is going to be killing women and children. I'm neutral, both sides. Israel are killing women and children. Iran are killing women and children. I'm neutral. I'm just saying war. I'm against war. Save silver and copper. Take silver out of available supply. Stop it going into munitions to cause harm and to hurt and maim and to kill people. We used to say save silver from the cunning men trashing it away in data centers, mobile phones, you know, EVs, computer screens, electronic screens, pretty much all consumer electronics are just trashing away the last of the silver and the copper. But this war now, it's not World War III, is it? It's not World War III, but it's something like World War III. The world at war, you could say the world is at war, is spreading. Look how many countries, the ship was sunk off Sri Lanka. It's spreading out. I mean, Turkey's been involved, Cyprus, all around the Middle East. So many countries in the Middle East now are all involved. The world is at war. In World War I and World War II, it wasn't the whole world at war. There were parts of the world that were not at war. And that's kind of the same this time round. The world is at war. I think it's going to be a long drawn out affair. I predict something that is not on anybody's radar. Nobody's really like looking at this, thinking about this really. Maybe some at the top are. There's going to be shortages of silver and copper. These are strategic, essential elements for warfare. And when there are shortages, they cannot make these weapons, these advanced technologies. It's not just the weapons, it's I call them data centers, but all computer systems. It could be on a truck, it could be on a vehicle, it could be on a helicopter, it could be on an AWACS plane. These computer systems need lots of silver and copper. And there's all these data center type, I call them data centers, but let's just call them computer systems, guidance systems. And they're all getting bombed. They're all the ones getting targeted on both sides. Both sides, that's what they're targeting. Boom, we need to replace that. The factories are all desperate for the silver and the copper to make the computer parts. Warfare, silver is the metal of war, is needed in all the infrastructure. the factories, the weapons, the vehicles, the planes, the submarines, is needed, and it is running out. If you hate war, keep taking silver and copper out of the hands of the cunning men. You could save lives. You could save human lives by being part of this movement. Take silver and copper out of available supply, drain available supply until they can't make the munitions, and then do not sell it, even when the price goes very, very high. We need your silver and your copper for the war effort. We need to make new munitions. Be patient. Hold on for dear life. Do not sell. Never sell. In the movement, we never sell. You can borrow against it in the future. There'll be systems you can borrow against it, but as long as you make sure you get it back. Never sell silver. There's all kinds of tax obligations if you sell. Just never sell. Never sell. Borrow against it, and you can buy income producing properties, businesses, things like that, but never ever sell your silver. Keep taking silver and copper out of available supply. Never sell. The ultimate exit strategy that came up with by Chris Dwayne of Silver Shield was never ever sell your silver. It's generational wealth. It will be handed down to your next generation. Borrow against it, fine. You can use it as collateral for collateralized loans, for income producing business or whatever. Never sell your silver. Keep taking it out of available supply.
Vinces in the UAE and Qatar, you mentioned they're running out. We saw a report from Bloomberg stating that in Qatar, maybe they've got 4 days if the current pace continues, and the UAE about a week. Who knows if those numbers are correct? I would have no idea, but Bloomberg wrote it. How easy is it for the U.S. to deploy more of these air defense assets? To me, if I was a U.S. troop, I'd be concerned because it seemed like we had the buildup of all these, different systems for months on end to all these bases, and then you're telling me they just start running out like that? It seems crazy.
Well, first of all, the system out aren't American systems. They're systems purchased by Qatar, purchased by the UAE. So they're indigenous to them. They're American systems, but they've been purchased. And when they purchase the launcher, they purchase X amount of interceptors. Nobody ever envisioned this kind of complete. When you purchase interceptors, when they were purchased, they were thinking Gulf War. During the entire time of the Gulf War, Iraq fired 49 Scud missiles into Israel, 49 during the entire time. And that caused panic in Israel. Here we have the Iranians firing 1,000 missiles a day. In addition to that, drones by the hundreds. And so you spend $2 billion buying interceptor missiles, thinking you're going to fight a war where the enemy is going to come at you with a handful of missiles every day. Instead, you find yourself swamped, and you just are blowing through your missiles. And, I don't know what mode the Qataris or the Emirati military is on, but, they were trained on full automatic mode, which means they're cycling through their interceptors at an unbelievable rate. They could be expending 6 or 8 per missile coming in. They have to put it on manual mode, but that slows things down and you're not as accurate. But the bottom line is these guys are just blowing through munitions that were supposed to last them for months of sustained combat, and they're blowing through it in days. And there's nothing to replace them because, the United States has been flowing missiles into Ukraine. We've been telling the Europeans to deplete their stockpiles and we will replace them. But in the process, we have to replace ours that have replaced theirs, and we have a negative deficit. So whatever missiles are being built right now are being built for the United States, and we're already in the hole. And we've deployed forward, THAAD and some Patriots and all this. And they're deployed there, but they have a finite amount of interceptors, and there aren't any out there left except in the Pacific. And this is where it gets interesting because Donald Trump, if you notice, he said initially, we're going to be fighting for a matter of days. Now he said, it's probably a couple weeks, and don't worry, we have ammunition. We have ammunition. Our ammunition is all over the world. And I can guarantee you that the commander of Pacific Force was going, time out, Mr. President. Over here, look at me. You remember when you told me to prepare for a potential conflict with China over Taiwan? And I told you I need X, Y, and Z to do this. And we started stockpiling. We're not there yet, Mr. President. We're at 70% of what we need. And now you're saying that you're going to take that away to do this insanity in the Middle East. No, Mr.